Hello everyone, in today's video, we are going to learn how to draw a house with markers. In the first section, we will practice drawing cubes using two-point perspective technique. Then we will learn how to shade a house. In the last section, I will walk you through how to paint this house with markers step by step. You can find the detailed supplies list and the timestamp in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. For this exercise, you can grab a ruler and a pencil to follow along. To create an illusion of space, we will use linear perspective to draw the cube. Two-point perspective is a type of linear perspective. First, we are drawing a long straight line. This is the horizon line. It is also our eye level. Then draw a vertical line. Draw dots on both the left and right side of this vertical line. It can be anywhere you like. From here, draw diagonal lines to connect the dots with the top and the bottom of the vertical line. Now we have created two triangular shaped areas. In each area, draw a vertical line wherever you like, depending on how wide you want this cube to be. Now we create a three-dimensional cube. The side that is closer to your eyes will appear longer than the sides are far away from your eyes. This will be the basic form to guide us to draw a house. I found a picture online and highlighted the house to help us better visualize the form. Feel free to pause and take a look. Now let's practice drawing a cube above the horizon line. When the cube is above our eye level, we will be able to see its bottom side. Follow the same steps. Draw a vertical line above the horizon line. Select two vanishing points. Connect the vanishing points with the vertical line. In each triangular area, draw a vertical line. Now we have created two sides. To draw the bottom sides, we are connecting the right bottom corner to the left side vanishing point. Then connect the left bottom corner to the right side vanishing point. If you feel confused here, remember, if any diagonal lines are parallel, they will share the same vanishing point. For example, on this cube, all the magenta lines are parallel lines. They share the same vanishing point A. All the purple lines are also parallel lines. They share vanishing point B. Now, following the same steps, let's draw a cube below the horizon line. When the cube is below the horizon line, we will be able to see its top side. From here, I'm gonna quickly use markers to add shading to these cubes. I'm using 3 shades of gray markers. I will talk more details about shading later in this video. Let's practice drawing more cubes in two-point perspective. This time I will use vanishing points that are very far away from the cube. Lots of times when you are using two-point perspective to draw something, the vanishing points often will not be on your paper. It will be outside of your paper. You can use a very long ruler as a guide, or most of the time I will just eyeball it. Once you get more comfortable drawing these cubes, you can try to draw them without a ruler. You don't have to be super accurate when you are doing freehand drawing. Whenever you have a pen and paper, you can always practice drawing cubes like this. It helps to build muscle memory. Practicing is a key. Before I learned linear perspective, this was how I used to draw a house. There are many details that can be improved to make it look more believable. Let's break down the house into a simple geometric form first. We are going to draw a cube and a triangular prism on top of it. I will just do freehand drawing, so my perspective is not quite accurate here. But I did another drawing on my computer to better show you how to use horizon line and vanishing point. First, follow the previous steps to draw a horizon line, 2 vanish points, and vertical lines to create two sides of the cube. Now we can draw diagonal lines to connect each corner of the rectangle to find its center point. Use the center point to draw a vertical line here to locate the top corner of the triangular prism. Then draw a triangle here. Connect the top of the triangle to the right vanishing point. Remember, if any diagonal lines are parallel in real life, they will share a same vanishing point here. To draw the last line to finish the triangular prism, it is a little tricky. Some people will draw a line that is parallel to the edge of the front triangle, but keep in mind, they don't appear parallel because of the perspective. I normally just guess the angle based on the perspective when I'm doing freehand drawing. If you want to draw it more accurately, we are gonna draw the back side of the cube first. Even though we cannot see it from here, we can draw it temporarily as a guide. Connect the left top and bottom corner of the cube to the right vanishing point. Then connect right top and bottom corner of the cube to the left vanishing point. Once you have drawn the backside, follow the same previous steps to find its center point. Use the center point to draw a vertical line and extend it until it intersects with the top edge of the triangular prism. Now we have finished this drawing. I'm only covering some basics about two-point perspective in this video. You don't have to master all skills at once. I just want you to learn some basic concept so we can carry on to the rest of the practice. Now we are gonna shade this form. Prepare 3 shades of markers. I always use gray markers because it's less distracting, so we can focus on the brightness and darkness of the color. First, choose a direct light source. Lighting can be very complicated, but we will make it simple during our drawing. I always use a light source that is from the upper left and slightly in front of the subject. So the area that is closer to the direct light source will have lighter value. The front and top side of this form will be brighter than the right side. I always use a lighter shade first, and gradually add darker value. It helps me better visualize and make fewer mistakes. Even though the right side is darker, doesn't mean we will add solid color to fill it. Each surface has its own light to dark value. The shading will have a range of values including highlight, light, mid-tone, core shadow, cast shadow, and reflective light. You don't need to memorize it, even my drawing here is not very accurate. I think the best way to learn is that every time you go outside or browse pictures, observe the detail of the house, pay attention to its light and dark values. The light to dark value here is pretty straightforward. The tricky part is the reflective light. The lowest part of the right side will receive some light bouncing back from the ground, so it will appear lighter than the core shadow. Now we will transform the basic form into a simple house. Start by drawing the cube and the triangular prism. We are doing freehand drawing, so I'm just estimating the vanishing point in my head. Once you have drawn the basic form, elongate each edge of the side to draw the roof. For the slope of the roof, I will just estimate the angle. If you are not sure, you can simply draw a parallel line right next to it. The roof has a thickness, make sure you add it here. When drawing windows and doors, there are 3 things we need to pay attention to. First, the scale. In this picture, all houses have the same outline. However, by relatively changing the size of the windows and doors, you can draw different size of house. The second thing is the vanishing point. When drawing windows and doors, all your lines will still follow the rule of 2-point perspective. The last thing is adding trims and the wall opening thickness. Since my drawing here is small, I won't add the thickness to the window and door, but we can still add the trim. To shade the house, I think it could be easier than drawing trees. Most of the time, your marker stroke can simply follow the direction of the shape. I like starting my marker at the edge of the shape, then moving towards the center, and lift my markers, so it doesn't leave a dark mark. The direct light source is from the upper left, so we will add more darker values on the right side of the house. 2 details we can pay attention here. First, the shadow below the roof. Once you add shadows to these areas, it will add more volume to your drawing. But keep in mind, depending on your light source and the perspective of your drawing, the shadow can be different. The second thing is the shadow around the door and the window trim. Even though it is very small, by drawing it, it will add thickness to the windows and doors. Before the last chapter, I would like to quickly share with you my drawing process. I started by doing some rough sketches. I knew I wanted to draw a house with trees and plants around. I also wanted to draw a cherry tree, but the color doesn't quite match the rest of the drawing, so I get rid of it. Then I started to film this drawing, which I made a bunch of mistakes. I decided to draw a forest behind of the house. However, I added too much dark colors, so the tone of my drawing became too heavy. I used pastel powder to tone it down and try to fix it, but then I still decided to draw it one more time and change the things around, which you will see in the final chapter of this video. In the final chapter of this video, we will use what we have learned from chapter 1 and 2 to draw a house in the forest. First, we will use two-point perspective to draw the basic form. The vanishing point is not on my sketchbook. They are far away from this house. In this case, you can use a long ruler to guide your drawing. Most of the time, I will just eyeball it. In this chapter, I won't do too much talking, but I may point out something I think it's important to pay attention to. We have practiced drawing trees, plants, rocks in my previous tutorials, so I wanted to include them all in this drawing. Even while I was creating this drawing, I still check out my old videos to see how did I draw things like trees and plants. I normally like to color things in the foreground first. To create a depth in your drawing, you can draw more details in the foreground. I try to intentionally save some white space for the highlight. To color the house, I will mostly use straight marker strokes. If you don't follow the shape of the subject and use your marker strokes randomly, your drawing might look messy, because alcohol-based markers don't blend very well compared to the watercolor. But the good thing is that you can use different shapes of marker strokes to add styles to your drawing. The light source is from the upper left. I saved some white space on the front side of the house as part of the highlight. Before I outline the house, I will practice drawing lines first. You can draw 2 dots first, and see if you can draw a straight line to connect them. Try to move your pen fast so you can draw a straight line, but don't draw it too fast, otherwise you will have less control of its direction. You don't have to draw exact straight lines. If your line is curved or tilted, just draw it one more time. It's okay if you have multiple lines overlapped. The key is consistency. Once your drawing is finished, the mistakes you made will be less noticeable. And there are some drawing styles that artists only draw uneven lines to build a style. Like we mentioned in the previous chapter, drawing the shadow around the trim will add thickness to the door and the window. To color the glass part, make sure it also has light and dark value. Don't just fill it with only one shade of color. You will see I gradually add dark values to the shadow under the roof. I might repeat this step several times. In this way, it can add layers to the dark value. If I use a very dark color right away, it often adds too much contrast, and I won't be able to fix it. Even though I might be able to use a blender or a white pencil to tone it down, it might make it look messy. I will draw less details on trees in the background, so to enhance the depth of this drawing. In my previous drawing I showed in the Brainstorm chapter, I drew too many details on the trees in the background, so the entire drawing looks very busy. So here I'm trying to avoid that mistake I made before. I won't use a pen to outline these branches in the background. Any things that are far away from the viewer will appear less details. So I will not use a pen to define its edge. The gap between each wood plank will have some shadow. It's a very subtle detail. From here, I'm going to keep adding small details. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and have learned something. I will see you in the next video.